Hey everybody, after I recorded my show yesterday, I record it typically before 5 p.m. Around 5 p.m., some news broke and we released another video. I don't know if you saw it, but I want to talk a little bit about it today. Yesterday morning, I woke up to the news that a lot of people saw that in the town of Lindsay, Ontario, which is about 90 minutes outside Toronto, there was a man, a homeowner, who was sleeping at night. It was 3 a.m. You're supposed to sleep at night, but someone who wasn't supposed to broke into his home at 3 a.m. So the homeowner wakes up, there's a conflagration, down goes the intruder, he's injured. Police come to the house and they charge the homeowner. They do charge the intruder also, but they charge the homeowner with serious assault. I couldn't believe it. I was frustrated. I was furious. There's such a crime wave in this country. The police are not protecting us. Politicians make it worse in a number of ways. The courts make it worse. Turns out the intruder is a serial criminal, well known to police already. Just crazy, but no one knew the name of the homeowner, at least no one who published it, and it wasn't in a police note. So I made a tweet. I said, if anyone knows this guy, have them email me. And I put my email there, and I thought, well, there's a chance. A ton of people saw that and shared that, and it came to his attention. Someone showed it to him, and so I get an email, and then I talked to him on the phone. Jeremy McDonald is his name, and it really happened. And I talked to him a bit, and I don't think he was that familiar with Rebel News, but I said, look, let's do some journalism for you. Let's start a petition to strengthen what in some jurisdictions is called castle law or castle doctrine, which is just what it sounds like. A man's home is his castle, and he can defend it. You know, there's a wonderful tradition, especially in the British legal system. It goes back centuries, that your home really is your castle, and not even the king himself can come into your home without a warrant. And it's a beautiful law. And no matter how lowly your house is, you are the king of your own castle. And the idea that some serial criminal breaks in your home and you get charged because you were a little too rough in defending yourself, I find that anathema. There are different jurisdictions around the world where castle doctrine basically says you can do whatever you want to protect yours and your own. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I hope that this case is dropped before it goes to court. I think there's no jury in Canada that would convict such a man. We all know how bad things are. Anyhow, I made a video last night basically saying what I said here. And I noticed today the Premier of Ontario, who is in many ways responsible for this because it's the provincial government, there's provincial courts that handle a lot of these these criminal matters. It's the provincial government that handles the prosecutors. So yes, there are some problems with the federal government for sure, but in almost every way, what happened to this man was the fruits of Doug Ford, the Conservative Premier. Well, he made a statement today about how he's totally on side with Jeremy McDonald from Lindsay, Ontario. Take a look at Doug Ford.
Everyone hear about the story in Lindsay? So this criminal that's wanted by the police breaks into this guy's house. This guy gives him a beating, and this guy gets charged. And the other guy gets charged. But, something is broken. I know if someone breaks into my house or someone else's, you're going to fight for your life. This guy has a weapon. You're going to use any force you possibly can to protect your family. I'm telling you, I know everyone would. I'd be scared to break into Kevon's house. Look at this. He's like a linebacker. He'd beat the living crap out of the guy, as he should. Because enough's enough here. Violence and breaking into people's homes, putting guns to their heads. And guess what? Some bleeding heart judge, little Johnny, he didn't have a good upbringing. So we're going to let him out on bail 5 more times because he's on his 5th, being let out on bail 5 times just to go do the same thing the next day. I'll tell you one thing. I get more calls than anyone in the country. People are done with this. They're absolutely done. They're finished. You should be able to protect your family. When someone's going in there to harm your family and your kids, you should use all resources you possibly can to protect your family. And maybe these criminals will think twice about breaking into someone's home.
Yeah, there's something that really bugs me when politicians adopt the third person when they talk about a mess they created. Justin Trudeau was a master of that. He would do something atrocious, awful, and when it blew up, he would say, oh yes, We have a lot to learn from this. And he would sort of position himself as a pundit, commenting on what had happened, like he was some passive observer instead of the prime actor. Doug Ford has appointed many provincial judges. He presides over the police. That is a provincial jurisdiction. He presides over the prosecutors. That's a provincial jurisdiction. It was Doug Ford that arrested and charged this man, not him himself, but his delegates. And the chutzpah of this guy to position himself as if he's outraged by this isn't the first time he's done it. Here he is on an earlier occasion, specifically using the phrase castle law. But that liar didn't do a thing about it. Take a look.
Did you hear about the guy that these thugs came up, ready to steal his car? They're all in their masks and everything. So I guess he was a hunter or something. He shot up in the air. I don't recommend that, by the way. But he gets charged. I got to find out this guy's name and number, and I'm going to hold a fundraiser for lawyer fees for him. He should get a medal for standing up. It's like down in the U.S., we should have the castle law. Someone breaks into your house, and I know any of these people here, someone breaks in your house and they're coming after your kids and you're coming after your spouse, you're going to fight like you've never fought before. You're going to use anything that you have, be it weapons, baseball bats, knives. You're protecting your family.
The fancy people, they have private security. I mean, Doug Ford has private security wherever he goes. And in fact, at his house, there's a police car parked nearby. And I think that's a good idea, by the way. I think that premiers of provinces should have some protection. But the chutzpah of this guy claiming that he's with the underdog, here he is telling the story of when someone tried to rob a vehicle from his property. There's a massive spate of vehicle crimes in Canada. Here's Doug Ford explaining how it went down on his own property, but because he had a police car there, they caught the bad guys right away. Here's Doug Ford.
I'm going to tell you a story, probably get in trouble for this. Do you want to hear about stupid criminals? Have you ever seen that show about stupid criminals out there? So 4 thugs come racing down my street, masks on, ready to take the car out of the driveway. Surprise, surprise, at 12:30, the 2 police cars are there. The chase is on. So they chase him. One guy runs out, takes off. They capture him, and they catch these other guys. But just imagine all the unfortunate people that don't have security there at their house with masks on, and they had all the tools ready to break in and everything, and guess what's going to happen? They're going to be back out. Why don't you guys come over for a barbecue tonight? I'll take care of you better than the police. And thank God the police got you and I never did. Anyways, that's my rant. I'm sick and tired of the weak justice system that we have. They have to get a backbone, and we need to start throwing these people in jail. This is turning into a lawless society.
Yeah, I say again, the fancy people, they have the private policing or their bodyguards. It reminds me of, a couple years ago now, when a police officer was having some public meeting about the crime wave, and his advice to the little people was basically lie back and think of Queen Victoria. Here, take a listen to the advice of how to make it easier for someone stealing a car from your garage. Take a look.
To prevent the possibility of being attacked in your home, leave your fobs at your front door, because they're breaking into your home to steal your car. They don't want anything else. A lot of them that they're arresting have guns on them, and they're not toy guns, they're real guns.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sort of tired of the mayor, the premier, and the prime minister, at least the Liberal government, who have presided over a decade of crime, then saying they sympathize with this guy. They do not. If they sympathize with him, they would act in the public interest and give us Castle Doctrine. I am not for vigilantism, but it is not vigilantism when you defend your home. You are there. And even if police respond in 5 minutes, which could be quite quick, 5 minutes, an intruder can do horrific things, especially if he's armed. If it is your house and someone willfully broke into it, I believe in the Castle Doctrine. I do not believe that's vigilantism. In Canada, we have a doctrine of self-defense, and we talked about that on the show the other day when a young person actually killed someone who was threatening him, and the court found that that was self-defense. The courts say that you are not to weigh to a nicety. Juries and judges are not to be exquisitely accurate in what they demand of a person who in a crisis defends himself. That goes doubly in your house. Could you imagine? I mean, that's the stuff of nightmares. My recurring nightmare is that someone breaks into the house, and I am sharing with you my private thoughts. That's my number one nightmare. And I mean, it's never happened to me. I don't know why it's my nightmare, but that's horrific. Could you imagine it's 3 a.m. and you hear a sound, oh, it's just a tree, oh, it's just a raccoon. No, someone's breaking into your house, and you defend yourself and your family, and you're the one I'm beside myself on it. Anyways, the good news is the public is overwhelmingly on the side of Jeremy McDonald. And as I mentioned, I called him up and I agreed to crowdfund for him, and he agreed to accept that help. This is new territory for him, but he's not a rich guy. I'm not going to get into his personal state of affairs, but he made it clear to me that he needed the financial help to fight this. He's not sophisticated in matters of criminal law. Luckily, we have a lot of experience with that. In fact, I told him that we had worked with many other people, including famous cases like Tamara Leach, for whom we continue to crowdfund. So I think he feels like Rebel News can help him, and I know we can. We can certainly help pay for his lawyer. The petition we have at castlelawnow.com, I think that will show how many. Last I checked, it was around 10,000 people who have signed it in less than a day, which is pretty good. And the fact that so many media reports of this are so overwhelmingly the response by the public, I don't know. I think there's a chance something will happen here. But if I had to make a prediction, it would be this: that after putting Jeremy McDonald through the grinder, they at the last minute grudgingly stay the charges against him, but wag their finger at him. I don't think they want to go through with the trial. And by they, I mean the Attorney General of Ontario. I think it would be a PR disaster for Doug Ford, and he would no longer be able to pretend that he's on the side of the people. But I think the reason they charged Jeremy McDonald in the first place is, in French, pour encourager les autres, to set an example for others, to tell others, if you dare defend yourself, we'll prosecute you. I think they're trying to make an example out of this guy and basically saying, don't try and defend yourself in Mark Carney's Canada, in Doug Ford's Ontario, in Olivia Chow's Toronto. And don't think it's not the same in other provinces too. Police really don't want people defending themselves. And on the one hand, I can understand it, because we don't want vigilantes, and we don't want a war of all against all. We don't want people using weapons or even firearms that they don't know how to use. But the thing is, people are driven to that because things are so bad. And because people no longer trust the police. Police are clearly making political choices about what laws they enforce and what they don't. We see that every day. It's tough to maintain your trust and respect and hope and reliance on police when you see them abide crime every day. And I think, for example, of the pro-Hamas protests and even riots in this country, everyone says, oh, the police really aren't there for us anymore. I guess we're on our own. I promised to Jeremy McDonald that we would crowdfund his defense. We would continue to do journalism about his case, and we would put forward that petition. And that's a promise I'm going to keep. What I'm so excited about today is how the entire country seems unified by this. And I don't think I've seen Pierre Poilievre make a statement on it, but I expect that he will soon. How could he not?